Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Donya L, and today it's our honor and to have the ambassador Donya Francis. He is from the St. Christopher and Nevis, and that is a beautiful place, although it's very far from Taiwan, but it's our great pleasure here today, and we can learn a lot from this beautiful land. Okay, so let's see it's a brief introduction of our ambassador. And he served as ambassador from last year, 2022. So it's a good time because this year our border reopened and it's more freely to go to everywhere. And he has contributed to education and community in St. Christopher and Nevis for decades. So he was a teacher in the beginning, so that's very good at junior high school. And so that is, so he is familiar to teach. And also, he is a co-founder and public relations officer for Association of St. Christopher and Nevis Nationals in Taiwan. So you can see this, he has lots of experience to work with Taiwan. So, as you can see here, ambassador, he got his bachelor degree actually in Taiwan, Brimstone University. Okay, then he got a master degree in the Master of Science in Global Health and Development from the Taipei Medical University, Taipei 医学院. And he has a research journal published in BMC Infectious Disease Journal in 2021. So congratulations to him. Okay, next one. So you can see, guys, he has a strong relationship with Taiwan. He studied in Taiwan, and also he has a business here before. And right now, he's our ambassador. So that is the embassy, so for your reference. Okay? So let's welcome the ambassador.
Associate Vice President, Professor Lee, other members of faculty, students, a pleasant good afternoon. It is a definite pleasure for me to be here today at National Taiwan University and to join your Global Competence with Internationalization at Home lecture series. I am here to give a brief but important introduction of my Twin Island paradise. I must express my heartfelt thanks to the organizers for extending an invitation to our embassy here in Taiwan. The title of my speech today is O Land of Beauty and History, an overview of St. Christopher and Nevis and its tourism industry. The first part of my title, I wish to let you know, is actually the title of our national anthem, O Land of Beauty, because St. Christopher and Nevis, we are very beautiful. Firstly, I want to ask this important question. This is one of the questions that I get asked a lot. Where are you from? Eliza Nali, where are you from? People always ask me, everywhere I go in Taiwan, they say me, hey, Nishinai Goren. And I'm like, guess, okay? Now, I want to ask you today, though, who can tell me where am I from? Usually people ask me the question, but I would love to ask you that question. Where do you think I am from? Anybody? Marin, you? Oh, you're TA. Okay, well, let me answer for you. A lot of people ask me, first when they see me, they speculate where I'm from, and they would ask me, where are you from? And I would tell them, you guess. First thing they say is, Feijo. They would tell me Africa, and I would explain to them, before, maybe some years ago, I was from Africa. My ancestors are from Africa. However, I am from the Caribbean. Walaitsu Jala Bihai. Okay? Mego Shaman. Good. Now, when I tell people I am from the Caribbean, first, but the other question is, guess, are you a pirate? Because of the movie Pirate of the Caribbean. And so I had to either explain to them, no, I am not, or just tell them, yes, maybe 10 years ago I was a pirate, but now I'm living in Taiwan, so I'm no longer a pirate. But I am from the Caribbean. I'm from the northeastern area in the Caribbean. The Caribbean has about 40 little islands, and St. Kitts and Nevis is located in the Caribbean. Now, I am from the Federation of St. Christopher and Nevis, or the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We have two names. But for this presentation, I will use St. Kitts and Nevis more because it's less difficult for persons to understand. A lot of times people say, where you from? And I tell them, right? That's St. Christopher and Nevis. And it's, oh, too long. So I just, okay, you can just say Shanji Si, Jiniwe Si, St. Kitts and Nevis. So today I'm going to use St. Kitts and Nevis. Most people from St. Kitts and Nevis, if you ask them where they're from, they're going to tell you St. Kitts and Nevis. But we have two official names, St. Christopher and Nevis and St. Kitts. So this is a beautiful picture. Well, I just want to say the picture that you're showing of me, I don't like it. I don't know why I look so on the PowerPoint. But this is our national flag, and it's a beautiful place called Southeast Peninsula in St. Kitts. This is my topic. As I said before, I'm going to speak about our land of beauty and history, an overview of St. Christopher and Nevis, or St. Kitts and Nevis, and its tourism industry. This is me, as again, your professor did introduce me. I still don't like the picture, I look better in person. And yes, I did study in Taiwan. I did 6 years in Taiwan, first at Brimstone University, and then I went to Taipei Medical University. However, my Chinese is not that good because all of my classes, thankfully, were in English. Thank you, Taiwan. So St. Kitts and Nevis, we are two small islands located in the Caribbean, the northeastern Caribbean. St. Kitts is the larger of the two islands, and I am from St. Kitts. St. Kitts, we say, is shaped like a drumstick, you know, the chicken part, the drumstick. And then Nevis, we sometimes say, is shaped like a cookie, because we always like to think about food. So we say drumstick, cookie. We have about 50,000 people on St. Kitts and Nevis, so we have a small population. Owando, yeah. Right? And we have two capitals. The capital of St. Kitts is Bastille, and the capital of Nevis is Charlestown. Now, St. Kitts and Nevis together can be fitted in Taiwan 135 times because we are very small. But I believe it's more than that. Okay? This is a depiction of our people. As I said before, majority of the people in St. Kitts and Nevis were of African descent, meaning that our ancestors were from Africa. So majority of us, we are 92.5% African descent. Then we have 3% who are mixed. Mixed meaning the African descent mixed with the European, etc. I would like to give you a brief history, a look into our history as it pertains to where we came from and where we are at now. Now, St. Kitts and Nevis, again, is a very small, independent nation. We have a rich history that we always try to tell people about because it is important that people understand and know about St. Kitts and Nevis. Yes, we are very small, but we have a lot to offer. We have a rich history that we must tell people about. And so that is why, again, I want to say thank you very much to your professor, and to NTU for inviting me here to speak to you. I thought about looking at a special topic, but I said, if I go and do a special topic, they still will not know where St. Kitts and Nevis is. And so I told myself, if I want to do a special topic, I first have to explain to my colleagues, you the students here, what is St. Kitts and Nevis? Where is St. Kitts and Nevis? Why is there a St. Kitts and Nevis? Now, St. Kitts and Nevis, as we can see here in the chronology order, we first had inhabitants similar to Taiwan, where Taiwan had these aboriginals. We had Caribbean and Arawaks in the Caribbean. And then in 1493, we had the Spanish who came to the Caribbean and settled in St. Kitts. Well, we had Christopher Columbus. You know, the story of Christopher Columbus, everywhere he went and he discovered land for the Spanish, for Spain. Now, Christopher Columbus, he went and he discovered St. Kitts and Nevis, and he changed our name from Liamiga to Christopher. I guess he was so excited, he said, "This is my island, I'm going to name it after me." And so he named us St. Christopher. But before that, the Caribs and Arawaks, they did name St. Kitts and Nevis Liamiga and Owali. So those group of people, our original inhabitants, the Caribs and Arawaks, they named us Liamiga and Owali. But then Christopher Columbus came and said, no, this island should be named St. Christopher. And Nevis should be named Nevis, which is Spanish for snowy mountain. Then, while he was there, remember, I want you to understand that, you know, the Europeans were looking to have as many colonies as they could. And that's why they started the slave trade, going to Africa and to different parts of the world to get people to work in the Caribbean, etc. And so in 1623, the British established the first colony on St. Kitts, and that is why we actually have the name, the mother colony of the British West Indies. St. Kitts is called the mother colony of the British West Indies. Mother meaning the person who gives birth, right? And because we were the first English colony in the Caribbean, we were called the mother colony of the British West Indies. Right after the British, the British came in 1623 and made us a colony, and also made a colony on Nevis. A fun fact about this though. The British came and the name was St. Christopher. St. Christopher and Nevis. They came and said, no, we're going to change it to Kitts. So the British changed the name from the Spanish. That is why we have two names. We have three names, Liamiga, St. Christopher, and St. Kitts. Nevis has Owali, Nevis, and Nevis, because the British came. Yes, I know it might sound like a mouthful, but that's history. And that is why, even though we are small, as I said, we have a history that is worth telling people about. St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean, we are rich in history, but people don't know us, so we have to ensure that people learn about the Caribbean. In 1783, the French came and they claimed St. Kitts. Now, the French and the English, they both were on St. Kitts, and they had to fight for St. Kitts. Our capital is Bastille, which is actually a French word. There's still a French colony, a French island in the Caribbean called Guadeloupe, and Guadeloupe, its capital is actually Basseterre, and ours is Bastille. That's the French on our island. St. Kitts and Nevis and Anguilla is another Caribbean island. We united as a British dependency in 1871. But after a couple years, Anguilla said that they were fed up of St. Kitts and Nevis. They were not being treated kindly. They were not being treated nicely. So they said, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I'm not being treated nicely or kindly by St. Kitts. So it's okay, you, St. Kitts and Nevis, you can stay together. Let me go back to Britain. I'm going to stay under Britain. And to this day, Anguilla is still a British colony. Now, Anguilla in 1971 was placed under direct British rule following a rebellion against domination by St. Kitts. In 1983, this year, we will be celebrating 40 years of independence and also 40 years of diplomatic relations with Taiwan. We got our independence from Britain and we became an independent nation. So here we had a small, tiny nation of only about 40,000 plus people becoming an independent nation. And St. Kitts and Nevis has been independent since. Our first Prime Minister was Sir Kennedy Simmons. Now, with independence comes many changes. When you're independent, you have to change certain things that you do or certain things that you have. And in this case, we have to change a lot of our national symbols because as a British colony, as someone who was under Britain rule, we had to take everything from Britain. The coat of arms from Britain, we had the Union Jack as our flag, we had the anthem of Britain, which was at that time God Save Our Queen, which is now God Save Our King. And so with that change, with our independence on September 19th, 1983, we got new stuff. Things that belong to St. Kitts and Nevis. Things that make us, give us a sense of identity. We identify with these. And one was a change to our national anthem, as I said, which is, it went from God Save Our Queen, and it was also Great Trinity of Ireland. Now we have O Land of Beauty. We also received the most beautiful flag in the world here. Very beautiful, do you agree? Thank you very much. And we also have our national bird, which is called the brown pelican. And I think it's called what? Oh, a woman, the guaneo. Yeah. And we have a coat of arms with our country motto, which is country above self. This motto reminds us to think about St. Kitts and Nevis with everything that we do. Everything that you do. So that is why I'm here representing my country and not representing myself. So I have to make sure that I represent my country well. Everything that a Kittitian and a Nevisian we have to make sure that we think about our country. So our motto is country above self. Our national flower is called the poinciana, very beautiful flower. And then we also got the national dish and also national wear. So again, with independence, when a country becomes independent, a lot of changes must happen. For example, before independence, we had what we call a premier. But with independence, we now have a prime minister. Before independence, we had a governor. Now, after independence, we have a governor general. And so this change, this independence brought some identity for us. We can identify with these new symbols and new activities. Now, our national flag was designed by Mrs. Idris Lewis Vick-Weg, and it was designed with these 5 colors, and these 5 colors have a different representation. The green, we say it represents fertile land and our soil. In St. Kitts and Nevis, as long as you plant something, it must grow. Because our land is very fertile. Our land bears a lot of fruit, food, vegetables, etc. Yellow represents our year-round sunshine. We're from the Caribbean. In the Caribbean, very tropical. Caribbean has only 2 seasons, we say. We say Caribbean has the sun and the rain. It's either sunny or rainy. Unlike Taiwan, when we come to Taiwan, we cry during winter time because we don't understand how can a place be this cold. And now with climate change, it has made it very cold, even colder. Yes, I was in Taiwan for 6 years, but I left Taiwan in 2018, and I dreaded coming back to Taiwan in 2022 because around the time I came, it was time for winter. So I was wondering to myself, did I make the correct decision to say yes to my government to be the ambassador in Taiwan because of winter? I don't like winter. I don't like winter, but I said, let me go and just weather the storm. I'm going to go and I'm going to take the coldness for just a few months, even though I thought winter was not going to end. But thankfully it ended. Now we have summer in Taiwan, but summer in Taiwan is so different from summer in the Caribbean because in Taiwan it's so humid. In the Caribbean, we don't have so many big buildings, big tall buildings, so our island breeze is plentiful. And you can walk, yes, it's hot, it's very hot, but you don't feel so humid. Like now, I'm very sweaty because it's hot, even though we have AC. Black, of course, represents our African heritage. Again, we are proud of being of African descent, even though now we're ensuring that people see that we have our own identity as Kittitians. Kittitians is what we call ourselves, like Taiwanese. We say we're Kittitian and Nevisian. And red represents our struggle from slavery through colonialism to independence. We had to go through a lot. We had to be under British rule, and then African slaves came, then we were colonized by Britain, and then we were British and the French were fighting for us, and then we had to get independence. White, when people see our flag and they see the 2 stars, in the US they have like 50 stars, 49, 50 stars, and each represent a state. This is not St. Kitts and Nevis. This is representing hope and liberty, right? Hope and liberty. But sometimes we just say, yes, they represent St. Kitts and Nevis because St. Kitts is hope and Nevis is liberty. Our official language in St. Kitts and Nevis, as is in many other Caribbean islands, we speak English. That's our official language. That's our mother's language, our mother's tongue. That's what we are instructed in school. At home, I was an elementary school teacher and also an English teacher. I'm a trained English teacher. But like other Caribbean islands, we are proud of our Creole or patois. I don't know how many of you know about Jamaica. Jamaica is very popular and the things how they speak. We all speak similarly in St. Kitts and Nevis. So now I'm going to teach you just a few words in our Creole. Yes, our official language is English, but we do speak something a little difficult. It's not difficult, you will understand it. For example, English is, what is your name? But at home we might say to each other, what your name be? What you name be? Let me hear you say, what? You name be. It's basically the same because, what is your name? The verb to be is here. So we just say, what your name? Hey, what your name? My name is Donya. What is your name? My name is Donya. Right? Another one is, how old are you? Who wants to try to read this for me? How old are you? This is who? Much is you? Good. So we say, how old are you? How old are you? How much years to be? How much years to be? Right? It's basically asking, how old are you? And we say, we just change the words. We change the question words. Who, much. We cannot say much when we're counting. But for us in patois, in Creole, we use it as a countable word. But we cannot say much. Many is used when you're counting something, right? And because sometimes in the Caribbean, we just drop the Y and we say is instead of years. How much years to be? Okay? Another popular one is good morning. Good morning. We say, oh, good pronunciation is good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay? And so, again, we speak English, but we have our special language, which is not a written language. It's not a language, really. It's a Creole patois. It's spoken widely among people, but everyone in St. Kitts and Nevis can speak English because that is our official language. That is our national language. Just so that, sometimes people even ask me if I can speak this. And I'm like, yeah, I was born in St. Kitts and Nevis. I could speak it. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to hide it from it. But people they would ask me, do you speak that way? And I'm like, of course. Of course. Yes. I just want to give you a brief introduction to our government. Now, our government, we have a parliamentary system, which means that we have to vote in our leaders. And the head of state, because we're still a part of the Commonwealth, we're one of the Commonwealth realms countries, and so our head of state is King Charles III, who will be coronated later this week as the new head king of Britain, of UK. We have the Governor General, who is actually the King's representative. She was recently instated here. Her name is Her Excellency Dame Marcella Althea Liburd. She's a lawyer, former politician, former government minister, and also former National Assembly Speaker. Our Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Terence M. Drew, he won election the party won election last August 2022, and because that party won most of the seats, he's now the Prime Minister. St. Kitts and Nevis is also very unique because we still have a premier, and that person is in charge of Nevis. However, the Prime Minister is in charge of St. Kitts and Nevis. We have a federal government, but we have what we call the Nevis Island Administration or Assembly, and we have a premier who is also the leader of opposition in the federal government, Honorable Mark A. Brantley. I will have to come back to explain this system to you, okay? But we have a Prime Minister who is Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, and we have a premier on the Nevis Island. Now, our parliamentary system, it has three arms of government. We have legislative, which we make laws. Executive enforces the law, and judiciary, which is the interpretation of the laws and administration of justice. In Taiwan, we have the same thing. But Taiwanese have added an extra two. They have added the examination UN and the control UN. So our system is similar but different because of these two additions from Taiwan. Maybe we can think about adopting something from Taiwan, but this is very interesting to see that Taiwan has added two special arms of government: the examination UN and the control UN. Our relationship with Taiwan, as I said before, right now we are celebrating 39 years of relationship and continue with Taiwan. We first became diplomatic allies. We became independent on 19 September 1983, and just a few weeks after our independence, Taiwan and St. Kitts and Nevis were like, we're best friends, eh? We have to become friends, and we're like, sure. And so we have been allies since, and this year is going to make 40 years of relationship. Now, Taiwan has a great presence in St. Kitts and Nevis. Everyone in St. Kitts and Nevis knows a little bit about Taiwan because of the presence there. And so in 2005, former President Aben, President Chen, he visited St. Kitts and Nevis, and President Ma In-jo, he visited us in 2013. In 2022, our Prime Minister, just maybe 2 months after winning his, 3 months after becoming the prime minister, he visited Taiwan. President Tai actually visited St. Kitts and Nevis in 2019. And so you can see from these pictures and this information, you would realize that we have a strong relationship. We support each other. We have mutual benefit, mutual relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis and Taiwan. And to ensure that people understand this, we have these, these visits where we do our little exchanges. And so this is a picture of President Tai with our new Prime Minister, the Honorable Terence True. And that's me when during the visit, I was accredited or officially appointed as the ambassador to Taiwan. So that's me there. I know you can't see my picture. I don't know why. This is my Minister of Foreign Affairs here. That's the Premier of Nevis. He was he was the Deputy Premier of Nevis, but he's no longer Deputy Premier. That's Minister Iselin Phillips, Minister of Youth, and this Minister Joy L. Clark. She's Minister of Sustainability, Environment, etc. And this is a minister, a member of the Nevis Island Administration. Now, the culture of St. Kitts and Nevis. I know I've been talking a lot, but I have to give you a brief overview because I think it's important that we understand about what is St. Kitts and Nevis, where is St. Kitts and Nevis. Majority of our culture can be linked back to Africa. Why? Because we're of African descent. And the majority of our culture can be linked back to Africa and also to Europe because of our colonization by Europe. So a lot of our culture we see here, you can find some of it in Africa today. Some words that we say in our Creole, you can actually hear them in African languages. For example, we said the word mumu. Mumu means a stupid person. And then I had a best friend from Nigeria while studying at Mingchuan, and he said the word mumu. And I said to myself, I had never used that word around him. And I was puzzled, and I asked him, what do you know about the word mumu? That's when he explained to me that they still use that word in Africa. So a lot of our influence, of our culture, etc., comes from Africa with a splash of the Europeans. For example, this is what we call the masquerade. The masquerade, you're dressed in pretty attire. They're known as the Indians. And they are mostly animated of the Christmas sports. Sorry, the most animated of the Christmas sports. The masquerade and these following folklore troupes, you will usually see them during December, which is our carnival time. St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Kitts Carnival is the only carnival that happens during December, during the Christmas time. And so this is one of the most special, most important, the best carnivals in the world. And so this masquerade, the dressing costume covered with ribbons, bells, and mirrors, and wear a crown of peacock feathers because they make them feel tall. They mimic the swaying of waltz and blend of dance and blending of dance. Now, they have a waltz. It's not an African dance, right? Waltz is like British and those. Right? So they do a lot of dances from Britain while they are Europe while they're performing. Okay, but then they also do some more dances, some other dances that will remind you of African dances. So it's a perfect mixture, perfect blend between Africa, the continent Africa and the continent Europe. We have a bull. A bull is basically a cattle. And so there's this ancient story that happened in the 20th century, which is not so long ago, in 19-something, and it's about an incident. Now, this incident happened on one of the sugar plantations, where one of the owners of this bull realized that the bull was not behaving like a bull. It was behaving very wild. He was having issues with the bull. And so he had to go and find a doctor, people who know the bull to come and try to make the bull better. And so this is why we have the story, The Bull. This is a very interesting story because it did happen, and it just so happened, so it happened, and then we just turned it into one of our folklore stories that we teach to our children, and we show people what happened during that time. And so we have the bull. Now, this bull, sometimes people is fearful of the bull. It's a person, okay? It's a person, but people is fearful because of the way he acts, very crazy, well, not crazy, but rough and moving through wildly. And so people are nervous, and people get fearful of the bull. Boys, men, males especially, they're fearful because the bull, it attacks you. And because of its folklore, etc., we cannot do the bull anything during Christmas time because it's protected by law, that's what they say. And so because they have a license to play, you cannot do that many things. So if the bull comes to you and hits you, or butt you with the horn, the bull horn, the top, you cannot do anything but just say, yeah, okay, I'm going. If you try to fight it back, police might come and arrest you, because around that time, he is licensed to be a bull. The Makajumbi, these are very unique. I can't do it because one, I'm too heavy, and two, you have to be skilled to be on these tall stilts. These are actually sticks. And so we have professional Makajumbi walkers or stilt walkers. They're walking on these tall stilts, tall sticks, walking around. Now, this again has history. It believed that these Makajumbis were the mediator between the living and their sisters. Also, it helped our people to, the height itself gives them more power to overlook the community. And so they're saying, history explains that those people who were Makajumbis, what they did, they were able to see when trouble was coming. They were able to reach our ancestors, reach higher. Also, they were able to walk above the spirits, because the Africans and the Caribbean people, we do believe in spirits, I don't know if they're ghosts, etc. And so we believe that, they're real. And so if you're on these stilts, we're saying that they pass through your legs, they kind of touch you. So people believe that these Makajumbis wore these stilts, these long sticks, so that they can be above these spirits, this bad energy. The clowns. Yes, it's a clown. I'm sure you've seen a clown before, but our clowns are very pretty, multicolored, very pretty. And they are dressed in loose, colorful clothing with jingling bells and crackling cattle skin whip. And the faces are in a white mask that represent the Europeans. So this is a face here, and it represents what our ancestors thought the Europeans looked like. And so their mask make them look European. Now, we have some of these clown costumes in Taiwan, and sometimes we go to perform, and the people in the audience, they are scared of us. And sometimes we have to be like, hi, Nabuyapa, Omen Joshuan, okay? Because some people come to us and ask us, is that your real face? We're like, no, it's a mask. So we have to show them like, hi, okay. And so they parade also during Carnival in December, and they have fun, and they dance, and they go, and they go around parading. I guess if you know of our African heritage, our African people, we are dancers. Everything we like to celebrate. And so they danced a lot during their time when they lived in St. Kitts and Nevis. Our dishes, I'm going to be very quick here. We have a national dish. Our national dish, this was created sometimes in the 2000s. We usually cook this on special occasions, and it has saltfish, coconut dumpling, which is very different from Taiwan, seasoned breadfruit, spicy plantains. Taiwan does not have plantains. I don't think Taiwan has breadfruit as well. This is blood pudding, and you might have seen this in Taiwan, but ours is different. We place, I think you have that blood rice, that sticky in the night market. But ours, we have the similar one, but it is actually placed in the intestine of the animal. So this is actually maybe the large intestine of the animal, of the goat or of the pig, of the cattle. So we use the large intestine and we put that rice inside, but in Taiwan, it's just there in the water. We have cook up. Cook up is very easy. I don't think Taiwan has this at all, but we cook up, we put everything together. You know, in Taiwan, we cook rice, meat, this. In St. Kitts and Nevis, and in the Caribbean, we put the meat, the chicken, the saltfish, the rice, the beans together, and that's called cook up. Goat water is made from goat meat, and we can also add chicken or beef stock and other ground provisions such as sweet potato, yam, dasheen, taro, etc. Very tasty. There is this Caribbean restaurant. I'm not the spokesperson or the ambassador, but this Caribbean restaurant called ABV Caribbean in Taiwan, Taipei. It does sell Caribbean food, and you can get some of our food there. So if you have a chance, you can go to ABV Caribbean somewhere here on the blue line, I think. Our dress. Those of you if you have anyone from Indonesia, this might look familiar. This is our batik. I think in Indonesia and other places. And Taiwan has some similar batik. These are specially done by hand. This is our national dress. We have one for males and one for females. And if you look at it, you can see some European style in it and also some African style. The hat is very European. The way the shirt is made is very European, right? But the colors and the way, especially for the females, the way the cloth is tied, that's very African. The headdress is very African. But then, this dress style is very European. So we try to depict or represent both of our, the two different worlds, African and European. Caribbean batik is an Asian art of wax-resistant dyeing. Now, not everyone in St. Kitts and Nevis can do this. This is a special talent, and you have to learn it. And so we have this place called Caribbean Batik, where this is done, and you can go there and you can purchase your piece of garment. Now, I am at the part that I really want to focus on a little bit more, tourism in St. Kitts and Nevis. The video. Thank you. Okay, so today I'm going to present to you just short briefly on our tourism. This is hauntingly familiar. Okay. I showed you that video to show you what St. Kitts Nevis has to offer. I showed you the video so it can kind of ease your mind and give you a better understanding of who we are and what we have again to offer as a people. We have our people to offer. We're very friendly, very warm, very inviting, but we also have places that you can visit, etc. What is tourism? Tourism is a social, cultural, and economic phenomenon which entails the movement of people to countries or places outside their usual environment for personal, or business professional purposes. In Taiwan, I'm a tourist. I try to be a tourist. I live in Taipei, but sometimes I want to venture. In St. Kitts and Nevis, in St. Kitts, our new tourism slogan is venture deeper. In Taiwan, I want to venture deeper. I tend to say I'm a city boy because I prefer to be in Taipei, because Taipei is the only place I know. You know, I lived there for 6 years as a student, traveled around Taipei, but now I want to go out and venture, you know, deeper, go to Kaohsiung and Jiayi and Hsinchu and so on. And why? Because I want to learn about people. I want to learn about the language, the culture of different people. You know, Taiwanese in Taipei, they're going to be different from those on the outskirts of Taipei in the south. And so it's important for us to travel and learn more about different cultures, different people. And in St. Kitts and Nevis, tourism is our main industry. Main industry means, unlike Taiwan, where Taiwan has a manufacturing industry as a main industry, in St. Kitts and Nevis, we get most of our income, of our revenue, GDP, etc., from tourism. We depend on tourism. Before tourism, we depended highly or greatly on sugar. Again, as the mother colony of the British West Indies, we were producing a lot of sugar for the other colonies and also for Europe. So we were producing sugar year-round, sugar. It became so difficult for us to produce by ourselves that we started getting laborers from other places in the Caribbean. For example, from Guyana, people from Guyanese used to come and help us to cut the sugar cane. And that is why also in the Caribbean we have so many Chinese and Indians, because when they could not get any more African persons to come to the Caribbean, they had to find laborers from somewhere else. And so in the Caribbean, you might think I'm being funny, but we have a lot of Chinese and Indians who are from the Caribbean. And so you can have you have the title Chin, which actually should be Chen, where you know it lasts in traveling to the Caribbean, it lost some of its translation from Chin to Chen. So in Jamaica especially, we have a lot of Chinese Jamaicans, and also in Guyana, Trinidad, we have a lot of Indians who are Caribbean born. They're from the Caribbean because they were born there. And this is because sugar was king and we needed people to help us on the plantations. In St. Kitts and Nevis, we had a 300-year-old industry. Sugar was our main industry. We got all of our money from sugar. But sugar was provided here for the United Kingdom and the other colonies, and it provided many jobs. But then on July 22nd, 2005, that was the last day of our sugar production. This is what we call the sugar train, where these tractors, we call them trailers, they used to take the sugar from one end to the next end, from the cane fields to the estates, where they would then take them to the refinery to make sugar. And on the 22nd of July 2005, that was our last day for that sugar ride. And with that came changes, so we had to move from sugar to tourism and agriculture. And so now tourism is our main industry because we had to move away from sugar. What are some types of tourism in St. Kitts and Nevis? We have ecotourism, we have cultural tourism, which is very big, especially around December and August. August is Culturama in Nevis, the Carnival in Nevis, and then we have Carnival in December, where we have a lot of tourists and other people coming to St. Kitts, visitors, to join our carnival. Sports tourism is very big also in St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean. Agri-tourism and sustainable tourism. The last part is very important. The last one is very important for us because our government is now putting forward this policy where we want our country, or St. Kitts and Nevis, to become a sustainable island state in a couple of years. And so we are moving away, we're looking at ideas of how to sustain our little paradise, make sure that our people are educated and see how they can help us to become a sustainable island state. Tourism in St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Kitts and Nevis recorded a total of 301,400 tourists in 2020. That was before COVID came and mashed up everything. In 2018, $367 million in tourism sector. Again, that's our main industry. So we get a lot of our revenue from tourists, the cruise ship, the cruise liners, the people who come to St. Kitts and maybe stay maybe one night, and they stay at our hotels, etc. That's where we get our money from. And agriculture and some manufacturing sector, but it's very small. But tourism is our main industry. It is recorded that 42.63% of our gross domestic product comes from agriculture. Sorry, from tourism. So our GDP, almost half of our GDP is from our main industry, which is tourism. That's why tourism is very important for us. And that is why every November, our embassy joined the International Travel Fair here in Taiwan to encourage Taiwanese to see St. Kitts and Nevis as an alternative travel destination. Yes, Taiwanese love Europe and other Asian countries, but what about St. Kitts and Nevis in the Caribbean? You can go through the US, you can go, it's very far, but when you get there, you'll get a wonderful experience, okay? What are some tourist attractions activities in St. Kitts and Nevis? We have what we call a catamaran cruise, snorkeling, diving. Beautiful waters, clear waters, perfect for snorkeling, perfect for diving, perfect for swimming. Hiking the rainforest. It's just a small, cool trek in the forest. Sometimes you may meet some cold mist, but it's lovely. You can also drink from our natural waterway. You can drink some water from there, from the rainforest. The St. Kitts Scenic Train trek. Now, after we closed the sugar industry, we had to find another use for our railway. And so someone in St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Kitts especially, had a brilliant idea. Why don't we transport people using this same railway? Why don't we have people, we take them around and show them St. Kitts and Nevis, show them how beautiful it is. Okay, and so we have the St. Kitts Scenic Train trek. ATV tours, this is usually done by young people, especially for birthdays, or if if you on a holiday, you say, let me just take a ride on the ATV tour, and you go to the mountain and you just explore the mountain. 10 minutes already. You can have full tours of the islands. There are persons who are very knowledgeable about our islands, and they can give you a beautiful tour. I cannot give you a beautiful tour yet. I know 90% of St. Kitts and Nevis, but there's some people who I can tell you, go to them, give you a beautiful tour of St. Kitts and Nevis. Zip lining by Sky Safari. This is where you take the zip lines in the rainforest and you have fun with your friends. These are some of our tourist attractions. We also have horseback riding on the beach. Fun. This is Brimstone Hill Fortress, which is a national park. Now, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Whenever you see something that says UNESCO World Heritage Site, just know that it no longer belongs to the country, it belongs to the whole world. And our World Heritage Site, it was built by African slaves, and it was designed by the Europeans, and this was designed by the British military, and it was used to fight the French when they were coming in. So the British would use that to shoot the cannon and push back the French when they were trying to come to the island. Or when anyone wanted to come to the island to start a war, the British was ready. So this is the National Park, Brimstone Hill. You can go there, take photos. You can go there and learn about our history from this national park. This place is called the Southeast Peninsula. What is interesting about this picture is that this is like the end of St. Kitts and Nevis. However, if you stand here, you're looking at two things. This is the Caribbean Sea, and this is the Atlantic Ocean. So we have a place which is in Deep Bay where you can see where the Atlantic Ocean meets the Caribbean Sea. It's very beautiful. But if you stand here, and most tourists, most people at home, they use here for pictures. And because you can see the Caribbean Sea, which is very calm on the right, and then on your right, and then the Atlantic Ocean, which is a little rough on the left. Now, the scenic railway once was a 3-hour tour, but now it's about 1.5 hours because it no longer goes directly around the island, it goes half of the island. It was built, again, we are using the railway that were built between 1912 and 1926 to transport sugarcane from the island's plantation to a sugar factory in the capital city of Bastia, but now we transport people, we show people St. Kitts and Nevis. Just last year, we had what's that called? A lantern at the Lantern Festival, and it was actually, is this year or last year? And it was, is this year was a lantern? Oh, it's this year. Lantern Festival, and our lantern for this year was actually our scenic railway. This is the memorial of for the former president of the General Legislative Council, the Thomas Berkeley. So we call this the Berkeley Memorial. I'm not sure how many of you are. Can you guess? Can you see what is this? What does it look like? Big Ben. Who said Big Ben? Oh, you, yeah, good. Yeah, it looks like Big Ben. So it's basically Big Ben, but ours is green and smaller in St. Kitts and Nevis, and it was erected in memorial for our former Legislative Council, Thomas Berkeley. So it's called the Berkeley Memorial, which is something we call the circus. But it does look like Big Ben. St. Kitts and Nevis has some golf courses that, a lot of people enjoy. I don't enjoy golf because I think it's too much strength and patience. I don't have so much patience. So we have some beautiful golf courses. Some of them are linked to hotels, or some of them are just privately owned. Now, this Museum of Nevis History is important again to our history because this is where, if you're from the US, you might have heard of Alexander Hamilton, who was actually born in Nevis. He was one of the founders of USA, of America, but he was born in Nevis, and so we have a museum that is dedicated to him, and his life is explained there. He left St. Kitts about when he was 9 years old to go to another Caribbean island, etc. But he was born in Nevis. You can see President Tai, she also visited this museum. Now, the Nevis Peak, as I said here, we're not sure, but it potentially has an active volcano, and it's located in the center of the island of Nevis, but we have not had any recent eruptions, thank you, Jesus. If you look at the peak of the mountain, you see it looks like snow, so that's why they call it Nevis, and it's the snowy mountain, the top of a mountain that has snow. The Bath Hot Springs, I was just there last week because I did go home. I traveled home for diplomatic week. All of our diplomats were home, and I visited this place for the first time in my 32 years on earth. My first time going to Bath Hot Springs, and it is believed to have some healing powers. You go there and you step into the water, and it can help you to heal whatever pain you have, especially joint pains, etc. There are 3 ponds that, it goes by heat. This one is about, I think one is 120 degrees and the other one is 115. So very beautiful place. These are some, activities for you. I'm going to finish right now. And again, you can do horseback riding on the beach. Because the beaches are very beautiful, and so why not just explore the beach, but explore the beach on the back of a horse. And so we have these activities: sailing, zip lining, walking through the forest, snorkeling, diving, etc. Now, this is our carnival. Now, in carnival is a display of colors. Carnival is a display of fun. Carnival is a display of our culture. And we have 2 carnivals. Two national carnivals. One is in Nevis from July to August, which is called Culturama. And then in December to January, we have Sugar Mass on St. Kitts. Carnival is a big celebration in the Caribbean. All of the Caribbean islands, we have our carnival. And it's just, again, it's a showcase of our culture, showcase of our, of our happiness. And if you can look at the videos, everyone is happy. And we just we love to have fun, and so that's why we have this carnival. And with that said, this brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope you were able to grasp a little bit, well, not a little bit, a lot about St. Kitts and Nevis. And even if you remember one thing, just remember that St. Kitts and Nevis is a friend of Taiwan, and St. Kitts and Nevis is located in the Caribbean. Even though we are small, we are rich in history, and we have a lot to offer. With that said, thank you very much for attending my short, brief lecture. Thank you.